Started.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Archana Subhash from SkillActz. I'm happy to welcome all of you to this inaugural session of the M.DIT SkillActz Pooled Placement Drive. This session is expected to be for about an hour. I can assure you that it will not feel like an hour. We have distinguished professionals from the industry and academia who will share their knowledge and experience with us, particularly for the benefit of students, so that all of you can land good jobs at the earliest. Before we begin the session, I offer a prayer for the well-being of everyone. And also, I pray that all of us have useful takeaways from this program. The first item on the agenda is the welcome speech by Dr. Maheesan, Principal of M.DIT. Dr. Maheesan is an alumnus of NIT Calicut and NIT Karnataka and has more than 30 years of experience, most of it as principal of prestigious institutes. He is extremely dedicated towards students acquiring the right skills to become industry ready, which is why his college is a co-host for this event with SkillActz. I invite Dr. Maheesan for the welcome address. Dr. Maheesan, over to you for the welcome address.
Okay. Am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Archana?
Yes, you're audible, but I think you're not visible. You're.
One second.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Right.
Okay, I think shall we start? Before that, Dr. Ashokan is here. Ashokan sir. Ashokan sir.
He's there in the meeting. Yes.
Yeah. Just I want to convey one message that I want to pass.
Yeah,
Sir, Ashokan sir, please contact.
Here.
Ashokan sir, please contact Arun so that I think chairman got some difficulty in joining. You just contact Arun. Okay.
Okay. I'll do.
No, okay. Good morning, all. Shall we start the program?
Yes, please.
Okay. Good morning. Being the principal of M.DIT Engineering College, I consider it as my privilege to welcome you all to this mega pool drive. Actually, this is the first pool drive program in the history of our M.DIT, which is completely conducted on online mode because of this corona pandemic. Actually, corona pandemic has created a global crisis with far-reaching social and other economical repercussions. In the job sector is also. Our resilience during this challenge will be measured by how we make the best out of these circumstances. Really, most of the big players of recruitment process had to stay away from the campus again due to this corona issues. To be frank, had it not been with the partnership with the Trinity Skillworks or SkillActz, it would have been a Herculean task for us to contact the main recruiters. Thanks to the Trinity team. Actually, my duty here is to welcome all the participants, all of the gathering here. So, first of all, I extend a wholehearted welcome to our beloved chairman, Mehboob Sir. He's the chairman of MDIT. Is the chairman of Consumer Fed. He's a social worker too, and not a politician too. So I wholeheartedly welcome our beloved chairman, Mehboob Sir. I extend a warm welcome to my friend Subhash, the CEO of Trinity Skillworks. Actually, we were so grateful for your support. Here also, without which your support, the program would not have been possible at this time. I also would like to extend my warm welcome to Robin Bhowmik, actually Chief Business Officer of Manipal Academy, and also Mr. Rajesh Narayanan, CEO of Chess House. Mr. Anand Temmas, he's again from SkillActz, from the same team. Finally, I welcome all panelists of Trinity Skillworks, team M.DIT, the placement team of M.DIT, especially the placement coordinator Vinita and the whole team, the faculty members or the placement officers of various engineering colleges in the Malabar area. Of course, finally, not least, whole of the job aspirant students or final year students of engineering colleges. So, my dear student friends, this is the most significant phase of your journey where you can showcase all what you have learned throughout your academic phase. And I wish you all the best for your future and for this 3 days campus food drive. So with this few words, once again, I extend a warm welcome all of my friends who have joined this campus food run through online or virtual mode. Thank you. Aparna.
Thank you so much, Dr. Maheesan, for the warm welcome, and also from our side for teaming up, joining with us and making this event happen. Next, we have a special address by Shri M. Mehboob, Chairman of M.DIT. Dr. Maheesan has already introduced him, but I would also like to once again remind everyone that he is a very well-known figure who has held very distinguished positions. Currently, he is the chairman of the Consumer Fed Corporation. He's a former president of Kerala State Cooperative Bank, and he's a very respected and well-known political leader and social worker. So I invite you, Shri Mehboob, for your address. Sir?
Is he present, Ashok sir?
Yes, he's present.
Yes.
Chairman sir, okay.
Good morning.
Chairman sir.
Yes.
Audible, sir. Audible.
Audible, sir. Audible.
Dr. Mahesh, Trinity SkillActz in the Subhash sir, Matu Bhowmik Mahal Viktigale, placement in the Charna, and Vidyarthi. നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ ഇന്നോളം ഇമാജിൻ ചെയ്യാൻ കഴിയാത്ത ഒരു പ്രത്യേക അന്തരീക്ഷത്തെയാണ് നാം ഇപ്പോൾ ഫേസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ നമ്മുടെ ലോകം IT മേഖലക്കകത്ത് നേടിയിട്ടുള്ള പ്രാപ്തി വിവിധങ്ങളായ രീതിയിൽ ഉപയോഗിക്കാമെന്ന് വളരെ ഫലപ്രദമായി ഈ സന്ദർഭത്തിൽ നമുക്ക് സാധിച്ചിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഇപ്പൊ ചെറിയ കുട്ടികൾ പോലും ഓൺലൈൻ ക്ലാസ് അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ, ഓൺലൈൻ സ്റ്റഡിക്ക് തയ്യാറാകുകയും ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു പുതിയ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ തൊഴിൽ കൾച്ചർ ഈ കാലയളവിൽ ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്തു വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇപ്പൊ പലപ്പോഴും IT മേഖലയിലുള്ളവരെല്ലാം അറ്റ് ഹോമാണ് അവരുടെ വർക്ക് അറ്റ് ഹോം. ഇതൊന്നും നമുക്ക് ഇന്ത്യയിൽ, പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് നമ്മൾ കേരളത്തിലെല്ലാം നിന്നുകൊണ്ട് ലോകത്തിന്റെ വിവിധ ഭാഗങ്ങളിൽ നടക്കുന്നത് പറയാറുണ്ടെന്നല്ലാതെ പ്രായോഗിക തലത്തിൽ നമുക്ക് നടപ്പിലാക്കാൻ കഴിയാതെ പോയത്. ഇപ്പോഴത് നടപ്പിലാക്കാൻ നിർബന്ധിതമായ ഒരു അന്തരീക്ഷമാണ്. തീർച്ചയായും ഈ സന്ദർഭത്തിൽ നമ്മുടെ സുഭാഷ് സാറുടെ ഒക്കെ തന്നെ മുൻകൈയോടുകൂടി ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു പ്ലേസ്മെന്റ്, വെർച്വൽ പ്ലേസ്മെന്റ് അറേഞ്ച് ചെയ്യാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞതിൽ M.DIT എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് കോളേജിന്റെ ചെയർമാൻ എന്ന രീതിയിൽ എനിക്ക് അതിയായ സന്തോഷമുണ്ട്. ആ സന്തോഷം ഇതുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട എല്ലാ കമ്പനികളെയും ഹൃദയം തൊട്ട് അറിയിക്കാൻ ഞാൻ ഈ അവസരം ഉപയോഗിക്കാം. എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ കഴിഞ്ഞ 6-7 വർഷം
സൗണ്ട് മെഹബൂബ് സാർ സൗണ്ട് മ്യൂട്ട് ആയിട്ടുണ്ട് അവിടെ.
ഓഡിയബിൾ അല്ല. ഇത് എന്റെ കേൾക്കോ? പിക്ചർ കാണുന്ന എന്തെങ്കിലും
എവിടെ ഡിസ്കണക്ട് ചെയ്തെന്ന് അറിയില്ലല്ലോ സാർ.
ഇപ്പോൾ സൗണ്ട് കേൾക്കാം. പറഞ്ഞോ സാർ, സംസാരിക്കാം. കേൾക്കാം, ഇപ്പോഴും കേൾക്കാം.
കട്ടുപോയത്. അപ്പൊ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് എഡ്യൂക്കേഷനെ വന്നിരിക്കുന്ന മാന്ദ്യം ലോകമാന്ദ്യവുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ. കാരണം കുട്ടികളെ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് കഴിയുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ പ്ലേസ്മെന്റ് ആയി വിവിധ കമ്പനികൾ കാലഘട്ടത്തിന് അനുയോജ്യമായി വളർന്നു വരുന്ന നമ്മുടെ പുതിയ ഗ്ലോബലൈസേഷൻ കൾച്ചറിന്റെ ഭാഗമായി വൻകിട കമ്പനികൾ അവരെ ജോലിക്കെടുത്ത് വളരെ സന്തോഷപ്രദമായ രീതിയിൽ കാര്യങ്ങൾ പോയിക്കൊണ്ടിരുന്നതിന് ഒരു തടസ്സമായിട്ടാണ് കഴിഞ്ഞ കുറച്ച് വർഷങ്ങളായി പ്ലേസ്മെന്റ് ഡ്രൈവിനകത്ത് ഒരു ചെറിയ മാന്ദ്യം അനുഭവപ്പെട്ടത്. അത് എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ നന്നായി ബാധിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. വിശിഷ്യ കേരളത്തിലെ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ രീതി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇന്ത്യക്ക് മാതൃകയായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ രീതിയാണ്. ആ നിലയിൽ തന്നെ സ്വാഭാവികമായും കേരളത്തിന് പുറത്തുപോയി പഠിക്കുന്ന ഒരു കൾച്ചർ കേരളത്തിലുണ്ട്. അതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായി കേരളത്തിൽ ഉയർന്നു വന്നിട്ടുള്ള എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് കോളേജുകളിൽ തന്നെ സീറ്റ് വേക്കന്റ് ആകുന്ന ഒരു അനുഭവം നമുക്ക് കഴിഞ്ഞ 3-4 വർഷമായിട്ട് അനുഭവപ്പെട്ടു. ഞങ്ങളുടെ കോളേജ് ഗ്രാമീണ അന്തരീക്ഷത്തിൽ ഒരു പ്രത്യേക കൾച്ചർ ഫോം ചെയ്യുന്ന, ഞങ്ങളുടെ എത്തിക്സ് തന്നെ ഞങ്ങളുടെ പ്രോസ്പെക്ടസിനകത്ത് തന്നെ രക്ഷിതാക്കൾക്ക് കൈമാറുന്നതിനകത്ത് സാമൂഹ്യ പ്രതിബദ്ധതയുള്ള എഞ്ചിനീയർമാരെ വാർത്തെടുക്കുക എന്ന ഒരു ലക്ഷ്യം വെച്ചുകൊണ്ടുള്ള പ്രവർത്തനമാണ് ഞങ്ങൾ നടത്തുന്നത്. അവരുടെ ജീവിത രീതി ഉറപ്പുവരുത്തുക മാത്രമല്ല, ഒരു എഞ്ചിനീയർക്ക് നമ്മുടെ സമൂഹത്തിനകത്ത് വിവിധ മേഖലക്കകത്ത് ഉയർന്നു വരുന്ന ഏത് വിഷയത്തെയും കൈകാര്യം ചെയ്യുന്നിടത്തു അവരുടെ പ്രതിബദ്ധതയോടെ ഉള്ള പ്രവർത്തനം തീർച്ചയായും ഇവിടെ ഇന്ന് വന്നിട്ടുള്ള കമ്പനികളെല്ലാം കാണേണ്ടത് അത്തരത്തിലുള്ള ഒരു മൈൻഡും അത്തരത്തിലുള്ള ഒരു കൾച്ചറും നമ്മുടെ സമൂഹത്തിൽ നിന്ന് ചോർന്നു പോയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു സന്ദർഭത്തിലാണ് സാമൂഹ്യ പ്രതിബദ്ധതയുടെ പ്രസക്തി വിളിച്ചു പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് ആ നിലയിൽ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികളെ ട്രെയിൻ ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു സ്ഥാപനമായി M.DIT വളർന്നു വരുന്നു. തീർച്ചയായും അതിയായ സന്തോഷമുണ്ട്. പരമാവധി കുട്ടികളെ ഈ കോവിഡ് കാലത്ത് പ്ലേസ്മെന്റ് ജോലി നൽകുക എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇവിടെ എത്തിച്ചേർന്നിട്ടുള്ള എല്ലാ കമ്പനികളുടെ സിഇഒമാരാണ് പങ്കെടുക്കുന്നതെങ്കിൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടവരാണെങ്കിൽ അവരെല്ലാം ഒരു പൊതുപ്രവർത്തകൻ എന്ന നിലയിൽ കൂടി അഭിനന്ദിക്കുകയാണ്. അവരോടുള്ള നന്ദി പ്രകാശിപ്പിക്കുകയാണ്. ഈ പ്ലേസ്മെന്റ് ഡ്രൈവ് ഏറ്റവും നന്നായി കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ഫലപ്രദമായി മാറട്ടെ എന്ന് ആശംസിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഈ ചടങ്ങിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കുന്ന മഹൽ വ്യക്തികൾ ഓരോരുത്തരുടെയും പേര് ഞാൻ പറയുന്നില്ല. എല്ലാവരോടും MDIT എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് കോളേജിലുള്ള നന്ദിയും അതേപോലെ തന്നെ അഭിനന്ദനം അറിയിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ വാക്കുകൾ അവസാനിപ്പിക്കുന്നു. നന്ദി, നമസ്കാരം.
Thank you so much, sir, for sparing the valuable time and for your blessings for the students, which is really needed at this hour. Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Mr. K.M. Subhash, founder and CEO of Trinity Skillworks, which brings you the SkillActz platform. He is an alumnus of NIT Calicut, and as an entrepreneur, he has a successful track record of founding several companies in the last 30 years. I invite him to speak on the topic, Changing Landscape of Freshers' Jobs. Mr. Subhash.
Thank you, Archana, and good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. A special thanks to Sri Mehboob, Chairman of M.DIT, Dr. Maheesan, Dr. Ashokan, and Vinita, the Placement Coordinator of M.DIT, for coordinating this event. It's a privilege to have one of our corporate partners, Mr. Rajesh Narayan, CEO of Test House, and Mr. Robin Bhowmik of Manipal Global, who's an academic partner of ours. And we are partnering with Manipal on several initiatives to enhance employability and giving job opportunities to students. Before I talk about the changing scenario, a word about this event to the participants, to the students who are watching this. This is not a one-off event for a particular job or a set of jobs. For those who take the assessment over the next few days, and those who clear the cutoff and they will go through a screening process of group discussion and personal interviews, and will be presented to our partner companies based on their aptitude, ability, and interest. We will continue to give you opportunities in the coming months as well. So as the first step, you would have got the links for the scheduled assessment. Please take it on at the scheduled time, and I wish you the very best for that. A message to those who do not clear the cutoff in the assessment: don't lose heart. We will reach out to you with a learning plan to increase your employability, and you can make another attempt at the screening assessment after 6 weeks, and then qualify for placement assistance from SkillActz. Currently, there are no fees charged for these services to the students and colleges. I would also like to assure you that the information that you furnish on the SkillActz platform will be used only for mapping your profile to the jobs that we aggregate from our corporate partners. I'd like to share with you a few important trends that we are seeing in freshers hiring over the last few years. This trend started before the pandemic, and it has now become a kind of a de facto standard. Number one is that employers are looking for specific skills. Just an engineering degree is not enough for most of the jobs. Even if you have very good marks in engineering, that alone may not be sufficient for the kind of job that you aspire for and the kind of job that you deserve. So I urge you all to prioritize and invest your time and effort in learning and getting certified in the technologies or in the areas that you are interested in. This will give you also a clear competitive edge in the job market. Number two, there are many sectors, new sectors opening up for engineers. Traditionally, IT was the largest, it still is perhaps the largest sector. The core sector is not so organized, or even the organized core sector has very few jobs available. In the core sector, most of the jobs are in the medium and small scale industries. But there are many emerging areas for engineers. One of them is banking and financial services. This is a booming sector, and technology is making a dramatic transformation in banking and insurance industries. It will be good if you can do your research into what is happening in this sector, get trained and certified in the skills that these industries are looking for. And there are literally hundreds of thousands of jobs available in the BFSI sector. This will be a worthwhile investment. And also there are many job assured programs available in this area. The third major change, which as all of you know, many of the large campus recruiters have moved off campus. For example, like TCS conducts recruitment exams once in a year, once in every quarter, and anyone can apply. And it's like how the public sector used to do the hiring earlier. So as far as the campus placements are concerned, some of the large players like TCS, Infi, Accenture have moved out, and they're doing direct to the job aspirants. Along with that, even the smaller companies are finding going to campuses physically, and they're finding it a bit of a challenge. And there is a trend of moving towards platforms. By platform, what I mean is Amazon is a platform, right? If you want anything, you go to Amazon, which basically aggregates different products, different vendors, and also the different seekers of those products go to that platform. So a similar kind of a change is happening in the placement scenario as well. And we are quite happy to inform you that, or let you know that SkillActz is one of the earliest such platforms and fast growing. So what we are doing is we are aggregating requirements from many employers, hundreds of them as we go on, and this will be happening over the year. And we are on the other side, we are connecting to colleges and working with colleges, not only for the finalists, we would be working from the second, third year onwards. We'll be helping colleges find internships, and once they complete, by the time they will have additional training, certification, and they would be ready to take on the challenging jobs that are there in the industry. So this is what I have to say. There is more on this coming from the eminent speakers who follow me. Thank you all, and wishing all the participants of this full placement drive the very best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Subhash, for clarifying, for bringing in clarity about the landscape, career landscape for freshers, and also bringing in hope for them for the weeks and months ahead. Our next speaker is Mr. Robin Bhowmik, Chief Business Officer, Manipal Global Education. Mr. Baumik has traveled around the country and the globe. He studied at University of California, Berkeley, apart from many prestigious institutes in India. And he has a rich career spanning several industries. He is also an authority on fintech, the latest buzzword. I invite him to speak on Banking 4.0, Emerging Career Opportunities for Engineers. Mr. Baumik.
Thank you, and am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Excellent. So thank you very much, Archana and Subhash. I really want to thank you as well on behalf of Manipal for this invite to speak to this audience. One of the things I really enjoy is talking to young people who are looking at career options. And I realize I have 10 minutes, so I have put a clock in front of me. First of all, I'm really hopeful that all of you are keeping well in the midst of this raging second wave of the pandemic and you're keeping safe and healthy. I also want to kind of mention, while we are reading bad news 24/7, there is a lot of change and transformation that's happening across the industry, and especially banking and financial services, and insurance for that matter, is transforming at a very rapid rate. And as Chief Business Officer for Manipal Global, I also head the banking academies for Manipal. And the rate of change that we are seeing within the BFSI sector is something I would love to talk to you about over the next few minutes. But I just want to kind of begin by saying that I'm a firm believer in the saying that every crisis creates a huge opportunity. And Subhash briefly talked about it. So as young people who are looking to make a start in a career of choice, and most of the careers that we choose stay with us for 30, 35 years, 40 years. And we naturally spend a lot of time thinking about what we want to do. We consult with parents, we talk to our peer groups, we talk to friends, and then we all kind of come to a decision saying, hey, this looks interesting for me. Just a couple of words of advice, and I can't help but saying it because we train hundreds of thousands of students every year, as you know, within Manipal University, and also what we do within the banking sector. First is be ready for change. The industry is changing faster than you can imagine. And it is not just technology which is driving this change. Technology is an enabler, right? But essentially, customer behavior has completely changed in the last few years. And as a result, what the customer expects from a traditional bank or a traditional financial services company or an insurer is changing at a very rapid rate. Second thing is technology today is hygiene. As I would call it, it is table stakes. So there is no longer an option of not appreciating or understanding technology. I think I'm not suggesting that all of us should suddenly become a data scientist or focus our entire energy on artificial intelligence or machine learning or etc. But understanding, appreciating, and being aware of how technology can impact your work area is of critical importance for every one of us. Now, going on to the subject of banking 4.0. All of you are well aware of the traditional banking sector in India. And I have worked with the banking sector in India for almost the last 13 to 14 years now. And the banking sector has been always at the forefront of change. And they have always been among the first to adapt to technology. The initial transformation towards a migration to core banking systems, followed by a very significant adoption of internet banking, followed by significant deployment of the whole ATM infrastructure, all happened about 15 years back. Now the banking and the financial services sector is in the midst of the second significant transformation that's happening. And while we hear a lot about how jobs are not available, there is significant unemployment in the country as we speak, I will also tell you an interesting fact. We work with pretty much every large banking and insurance sector client in the country. And when we look at the number of jobs that they are hiring for over the next 12 to 18 months, it is well above 150,000. So it's in the range of 150 to 200,000 jobs out there. Now, what are these jobs? What kind of skills are required? What is it that you need to know so that you can actually get through to these roles? Why did I talk about banking 4.0? Is because if before you get into the banking sector, you do need to be aware of the changes that are impacting this sector. And I would like to talk about 3 significant changes. Unfortunately, I have a habit of if I get started talking about banking 4.0, it takes me a long time, and I'm continuously tracking my watch. So keep it limited. The first thing is that the biggest transformation that's happening in this country is primarily in two areas. One is the whole payments area, and the second one is the whole lending area. And when I say payments, all of you would immediately be thinking of your Google mobile wallet, or you would be thinking of your Paytm mobile wallet, etc. Now, why is that such a big change? Because essentially the entire characteristic of how you spend your money, where you spend your money, on what you spend your money, including very small amounts of money that you spend, the micropayments area, is now largely in a digital form. I don't know how many of you are old enough to remember, but I remember at least 15, 20 years back when we used to, let's say, walk into a store and you buy something for, let's say, 88 rupees. Your bill is 88 rupees, and you hand over a 100 rupee note. And inevitably, the cashier would not have change to give you back, right? So they would give you candy in return. How many of you remember that candy economy? There was a whole candy economy behind it, right? Now, that is no longer an economy which exists anymore. Because when you want to pay 88 rupees, you take out your mobile phone, you open your Google Pay or you open your Paytm, and you pay exact 88 rupees. And you have no longer the need to worry about change or carrying cash. The second big transformation that's happening in this country, and this is especially taken speed post the whole COVID scenario, is in the area of lending. And when I say lending, essentially one of the ways to get the entire Indian economy back on track is to get people to spend, right? That's essentially what the RBI is trying to do. That's what the government is trying to do. The RBI has gone back to the banks and told them that, look, you're sitting on piles of cash. Please focus on lending, give micro loans, give corporate loans, right? Do credit guarantees, etc. But the entire focus now is in getting the money back into the economy, getting cash back into the system. So every financial institution out there, including all of the new banks, the neobanks as they are called, are primarily focusing on how to make the lending process easier. Now, one of the reasons why I talk about lending and payments is because these are the two areas where the most impact of technology has happened. And when we talk fintech, for example, and whether you want to talk about, let's say, your Google mobile wallet, or you want to talk about, I don't know how many of you are aware, there is this company called Neo, which is, again, revolutionizing the way you bank. They don't have a single branch. They don't even have a banking license, but they have aspiration to become one. Paytm is now giving you loans, I believe, of up to 2 lakh rupees. And they say the entire loan process will happen within 90 seconds. Now you imagine going to a traditional bank and asking for a 2 lakh rupee loan and the amount of paperwork that you need to fill up just to get to that process. It's a question of days, which has now been brought down to 90 seconds by one of the biggest fintech disruptors in this country. So what are the trends that you need to be aware of? I mentioned a couple of areas within banking, which is making huge impact. The second area is really in the area of insurance. India is still one of the lowest penetrated countries globally in terms of insurance adoption. Not only are we underinsured, as in, so for example, if you typically should need life insurance of 10 lakhs, in most cases, the life insurance would be of 1 lakh. So we are underinsured to a scale of 1:10. But also the penetration or adoption of insurance products in this country is less than 3%. So the second big area where there is a lot of change which is happening, and when I say insurance, it's not only life insurance, it's health insurance. Some of the biggest areas of impact which has happened post-COVID is in the health insurance space. It is general insurance, which includes automotive, which includes farm insurance for that matter, farm products, etc. The third thing that you really need to be aware of when you are getting into the whole banking space is not every large bank can afford to build their own fintech practice or fintech capability. So what they're all doing is really partnering with fintech providers. And there, the major challenge is on the technology aspect of it. So when you, for example, if you want to partner with a payments gateway, or you want to partner with a loan provider, then what most banks and the smaller banks, the larger banks are preferring to build it in, in-house. The smaller banks are focusing on building APIs or application programming interfaces, which can allow them in an open architecture kind of a format to integrate and work with multiple financial services, technology-based companies out there. I just want to mention, I realize I'm rapidly running out of time. I just mention a couple of other areas that I would encourage you to look at. One is clearly analytics, which is having a huge impact in the banking sector. You are all aware that India is one of those countries where there is a large public sector banking infrastructure. And most of the large public sector banks have got very huge NPAs, which is non-performing assets. And as a result, one of the biggest areas of focus for the public sector banking space is in the area of analytics. The next one is really a focus on cybersecurity, because again, the whole concept of working from home, working remotely, working online has impacted the cybersecurity space to a very, very large extent. And the office of the Chief Information Security Officer is possibly one of the most important after the CTO in most banks today. I'll quickly end with a couple of points that I just want to make. And we are really proud of our partnership that we are building with Trinity in the job assured program space that Subhash referred to. The first thing is that when you are looking at your career move, there is a new segment opening up within the gig economy. And a lot of you might be thinking that, look, I don't really want a full-time job. In which case, if you have a certain specialization in a few areas, why not evaluate the gig economy, which allows you to work at your own pace and effectively out of any location that you choose to be in. Last point that I'd like to make before I end my comments is be prepared for change and continuously invest in skilling yourself. Do not leave your own skilling responsibility to your employer. The onus is on you. I always say that any future employee should be like a mobile app. Why should you be like a mobile app? You should come with your own upgrades. Don't expect your employer to keep on upgrading your skills. It is your responsibility at the end of the day. I'll end with that. I really hope you have a fantastic fair. And I once again thank you, Archana, thank you, Subhash, for the invite to talk today.
Thank you so much, Mr. Robin Bhowmik. I think in the short span of 10 minutes, you have touched upon so many aspects of banking and financial sector. And I hope the students were making note. Many words you're familiar with, but I think time to research on many more and get familiar. There are jobs waiting for you. So once again, there's hope, and also jobs which you can do at home at your own pace in the gig economy. So I think times are good. Like Mr. Baumik said, every crisis creates an opportunity. So thank you so much for bringing this wealth of wisdom in these short minutes. Moving on, our next speaker is Mr. Rajesh Narayan, CEO of Test House. Mr. Rajesh is a specialist in testing, we could say. With a twin qualification of BTech and MBA, he has traveled widely and worked with leading global corporations before joining Test House, a leader in IT testing and QA space. So Mr. Rajesh Narayan will also be sharing his immense knowledge with us by speaking on the topic IT careers in testing. Rajesh.
Thanks, Archana. Very good morning to everybody. I'll just take you back for a few years. Did you know that Toyota Motors had to withdraw 270,000 cars that they had put in the market? Did you know when the London Heathrow terminal had a technical glitch, they had to cancel 300 flights? Hundreds of thousands of passengers who had to fly back and forth could not. As my friend Robin mentioned, the largest digital transformation is happening in the banks. We must have had our situations where we go to the bank, the ATM doesn't work, or it takes the card, it doesn't spit the card out. We've all experienced the technical glitches and the security breaches more so while we're doing financially critical transactions. We go onto the Google, say, search for something, it doesn't work. How would you feel? Be it the Facebook or the WhatsApp, arguably the largest, greatest, most efficient tech platforms, does have outages, does suffer, does struggle. Guess what and why? What matters at the end of the day is an effective software testing, a continuous assurance, and the total quality management, which can render a very seamless, consistent, predictable service and response to all of us, for all the customers, right? And that tells you whatever the industry is, be it an automobile, be it a healthcare, be it a software, be it transport, be it energy utilities, be it your rocket science, anything under the planet today warrants an extremely heavy dose of software testing, quality assurance, total quality management. So stay tuned. Arguably the biggest jobs that are out there for you young aspirants for the next 10 years at least is definitely in the software testing area. Market studies and Gartner's and other reports do talk about we having reached globally $40 billion in the software testing space by 2019, 2020. But not just that, the most important thing is in the next 5 to 7 years, we would touch $65 billion globally, just the software testing economy. So there's job out there for each and every one of you, and there's huge prospects from that perspective. With that, I'll take a pause, and I think I would like to take this opportunity to thank Subhash for giving me this opportunity in here, and thanks to Maheesan and Mehboob as well, for coordinating and making sure that I'm in front of this large podium addressing you all guys. I'm pretty excited. If you look at software testing, right? When I joined the industry 25 years back in 1995 as a software tester, it was neither a specialization nor it's something that one would be proud of. I was a software tester. Oh, you didn't get a job in development, I guess, right? So that's why you're doing software testing. That is how the industry began. But today, I think that's the old school. The new school is people are willingly, wantingly developing every aspect of the skill set to be in the software testing space. Reason being, developers are only into development. Infrastructure is only into infrastructure. Architecture is only into architecture. Business analyst is only into business analyst. Of course, with all due respect, they have a great career. They drive depth, competency in their spaces. So you students, if you take a step back and ask yourself, which is that one discipline today that connects the entire IT software development lifecycle? Right from conceiving a thought all the way to dropping that in the production, and we as users, we use it. And that's none other than the software testing, right? Right from the recruitment requirements, we analyze, articulate, test. We test the design, we test the coding, we test the testing side of the aspects, we test the integrations, and we, of course, support in the early life support. So today, as Robin said, in the way you bank, in the way you buy your grocery, in the way you book your movie ticket, in the way you do your vacation planning, in the way you apply for jobs, everything in the way we do is digital. Just about everything. As the candy economy talked about, and I was just sitting and kind of, laughing to myself. Wish my kid could do that, but no, things have changed. In all of this digital transformation, there's only one major important thing. If one or two functions doesn't work, or if customer does not get a consistent, seamless customer experience, they would not use the product. They would not use that service. We talked about the mobile app. You guys, youngsters, go download an app, you start, and then it crashes 3 times. Guess what? Trust me, how many of you are going to go back and try that again on the 4th time? Less than 1%. So today, what is required is the speed, agility, precision, quality output. Otherwise, we, the customers, are the king right now. We don't have patience. We would not wait for the 4th or the 5th iteration for things to work. So in this digital economy, ensuring the products, the systems, the applications are behaving the right way is at most paramount. And then we do that as software testing professionals. My name is Rajesh Narayan, as introduced. Been a CEO for Testers for the last 4 years. I started my career in '95 doing software testing, and I've not looked back. 25 years on. Amazing, entrepreneurial, and the most exciting career. And then today, at our company software testing, we exclusively do only software testing. As Test House, we are a global company founded in the UK, and we today are in 5 continents and growing at the massive pace. The good news for you all is, I would say some statistics. We had the highest number of fresher intake in the last 5 quarters. One could argue COVID has come, COVID has hit, there is stress, tension, ambiguity everywhere. Job losses are happening. No, not quite. Arguably, we had the best of the last 5 quarters. In the entire 21 years of our company, we've started our organization in 2000. The last 5 quarters has been the maximum higher. I would like to also take this opportunity to thank Trinity Skillworks, whom we partner with. They have an extremely specialized way of connecting. So we're in an economy where it's digital. It is about connecting the supply to demand. As Subhash mentioned, the traditional platforms are sort of moving away because it is not purposeful. It is not addressing today's needs and wants. And I think I'm very glad to say that Trinity is helping us through our fresher program all along in handpicking not just the right techie guy, no, handpicking the guy who's got the right passion, who's got the right mindset, who's got the right attitude, right? We all know to succeed in your careers, it's not just the technology, it's not just the skills, it's also the soft skills. I think to that effect, Trinity Skillworks is making sure that right aspects of you aspirants are connected to the right demand generating organizations, whereby there's a great degree of marriage that's happening. And I think, I'm here to assure you, one of the fastest growing platforms, or one of the fastest growing industries is IT by far, because IT is everywhere. It's in healthcare, to energy utilities, to manufacturing, to construction, everywhere. Within IT, if you closely look at it, software testing is one of the biggest, fastest growing services. It enhances you in terms of the entire knowledge on the domain, the product, the platform. It gives you a perspective from all 360 degrees, and it makes you a far more robust professional, as you would have access to what the business is doing. You would have access to what is expected as an outcome. You would sit with designers, you would sit with developers, and you are the one who's going to put things together. A slight example, just to put the things in the context, we all take our car to the service station, we put the car, and of course, inside the car service station, there are specialists who know only how to fix the engine, extremely critical part of the car. There are people who are extremely good at only the gearbox, the guys who are only into wheel alignment, the guys only into the body work and tinkering. These are very, very, very important profession, very, very important aspects of the car. But finally comes the guy who would do all the checks to ensure when the car goes out, it does behave to your expectations. What if the car comes out and the brakes are not working? Just imagine, right? So we don't want that. Essentially, quality assurance and testing puts everything around and then gives that satisfaction, the sense of customer experience to all our customers. So it's a job of multifaceted role. It's a job which involves design, a job which involves development. Today we call the software development engineers as testers. In the industry, it's called the SDITs, software developer engineer as tester. Imagine, and in my company, there are about 30% of the guys who are into hardcore development. You talk about any of Java, Python, any of those things, the guys are there, but they are beyond development. They are into the total quality management, total quality assurance. So I think I'm pretty excited at this moment. As Robin said, every crisis has its own opportunities. We as an organization are looking at this as an opportunity. We are growing. And I think if you look at majority of the Indian IT companies, they're doing better in the midst of this chaos. So what it calls for each one of you is the adaptability. I think that's exactly what Robin mentioned earlier as well. Change is the only thing that's constant, right? An ability to constantly learn and adapt and then make sure that what these industries wants and be able to be prepared, not waiting that, all right, somebody's going to hire, I go scratching my head, not knowing anything, and then I will get trained. No. Today, with all the digital platforms, you could go to YouTube, you could learn hundreds of things about software testing, about banking, about sales that my friend would talk right after me now. So it's important you invest in yourself. It's important you stay relevant. And it's very important you align yourself to the market needs and wants. With that, I'll probably close my conversation, wishing you the very, very best for your bright future. And when I graduated in '95, the jobs were none for most of us. Trust me, you guys are blessed. In so many ways, I envy you. You come out, just within software testing, there are 15 different areas that you could specialize, that you could make a career out of it. That's just one thin strand. And you take a step back, look at the larger IT, there probably are more than 100, 150 streams that you could focus, develop skills, specialize, and drive your expertise and contribute value to the organizations and to the larger society. So it's a time to be very excited about. It's a time to be passionate. And it's a time where you invest in yourself. engineering is getting over, studies are done. No, this is when the true study starts. This is when the true skill building starts, right? And as Robin said, this is something you keep it in your pocket for the rest of your life. Wishing you the very best. And I'm looking forward to having some of you in my company very soon. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Rajesh. That was wonderful, sharing your experience and especially sharing about the IT testing industry, which is not, like you said, not as well known, but with such immense prospects, I'm sure students are feeling happy that another area opens up for them. So far, I think it's been a wonderful morning for them, learning so much and feeling hopeful as our inaugural session progresses to the closing almost. We have our last and final, but not the least, as they say, speaker, Mr. Anand MS, Program Manager with SkillActz. Anand has a diverse background combining technology, business, and social sectors. He's a BTech and MBA who has worked with MNCs and startups. Interesting combination. I invite Anand to speak on careers in sales for engineers. Anand? Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. So, good morning, everyone. Shri Mehboob, Chairman M.DIT, Dr. Maheesan, Principal M.DIT, fellow panelists, members of the faculty, dear students. It's my pleasure to be talking to you about sales as a career option for all of us. I thank the M.DIT management for this opportunity to be talking to you about this. I hope you can see the screen. Let me share the screen with you. Sorry, give me a moment. Archana ma'am, are you able to see the screen?
Nothing has come on yet, Anand.
Oh.
It said screen, you're sharing the screen, but this I can see it.
Can you see now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So sorry for that. I think technology always trips us up, especially when it is the time to do something. Yeah. So this is from several years ago when I was just coming out of engineering school. We were just coming out of college. It was a bad economy everywhere, post the 9/11 attacks and in a lot of things happening after that. There were no jobs. We were young men. I was in mechanical, so no women. We did have two women with us in class, but still, yeah. So we used to share dreams about the future, and due to the times we were in, also a lot of dark jokes also about how we might start Tattugada or become a Kalavandikaran or things like that. But looking back, interestingly, I remember that we never talked about becoming a salesperson. Somehow that never crossed our minds. Nobody was talking to us about it. And so we thought we should probably talk about it to all of you. I think again I'm having trouble changing the slides. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So we, when we talk about sales, we always hear a lot of adjectives, which describes salesmen, and there's a certain image, all of us, especially when we are beginning our careers, we tend to have, and also this is also true, especially about Kerala and in our culture. So somehow these, I'm not going to, because of want of time, I'm not going to, go into busting many of these myths or whether these are true or not. But I'm going to speak to you today about a few of the things which I do know are true. Having spent a few years, in the corporate environment and building a career, and having seen my friends do that. So one of the things I really want you to understand is, I don't want to put a number of what percentage, but a good percentage of you are going to be actually doing sales as a full-time salesperson in your careers. You will realize later. A lot of my friends also ended up doing that. This is something I didn't know at that time. So take it from us that this is a fact, and we can then start weighing our options, preparing for it, whatever. So I just want to start with that. So this I was talking earlier about career as a full-time salesperson, but also about how all of us, irrespective of what career we choose to be in, we are all going to be doing sales. At different points in your career, you will have to do sales in some form or the other at different stages. This is inevitable. It will come to you. So there is no escaping that. So prepare yourself for that. The other thing I wanted to touch upon is that a salesperson, we usually think of it as somebody who talks a lot and pushes people and into doing things. But really, salespeople are really about solving problems, and often also about solving a lot of technical problems to help clients with solving problems. You become the go-to person for your clients, and so you are not the one who is hated. You are the person who they call when they have a problem. So that is another thing I wanted to tell about being a salesperson. The other aspect of being a salesperson is the network that you will build over your career. This is going to be your most powerful tool that you will have becoming a salesperson. You will know a lot of people in various positions, and a lot of powerful people, a lot of influential people, a lot of normal people, and that will be your strength both in your career. Let's say you want to get something done, or you want to change jobs. This network will help you, or even in your personal life. Like if I'm an insurance salesperson, it's very likely that I'll know several doctors. And I can reach out to them and seek advice. For example, I'm just saying as an example. So even in your personal life, often that network will be very powerful for you. The other aspect of sales is that it is evergreen. There is no summer and winter and rains or shine. There is always sales will go on. If it is a boom time for the economy, you will need to do more sales. You need more salesperson. If it is a recession and there is no sale, you will have to try harder. So you will have to have salespeople. So it's an evergreen career. When you're passing out of college, you don't really usually think about getting old, but trust me, we all will become old one day. And then this is about two aspects of it. One is will we become obsolete, and with the pace at which the technology is changing and all that. So sales is one career which is going to be there. Definitely change is going to come, and you'll have to catch up. You'll have to learn a lot. But you can go on and on if you are in sales, and you get better actually as you grow older. And we earlier talked about our networks, and the bigger and stronger the networks you have, you can keep going on and on, even if in your post-retirement life, with the kind of networks you have, being either as a consultant or in various capacities, you can continue to be productive. If that is something that is meaningful and exciting for you, that again is something that you might want to consider, being in sales. The other aspect, you cannot talk about anything these days without mentioning how technology and transformation is changing everything, and sales is also changing a lot of the image we had of people going door to door and selling. I think that is going to continue. People sitting face to face and talking about things would continue to have value because we are people. Once this corona is over, we will all be hitting the street and doing it. But a lot of changes also coming, and you are going to see a lot of offline, online, activity in sales, and the digital marketing and things like that are going to affect the way we sell. So that changes there. You need to be tech savvy, and all of that comes with it. Just wanted to mention that. Other aspect, like I mentioned earlier, this was class, and there were no women. There were only two. That sales is a career only for men, and it's not suitable for women. I mentioned that there were two girls in my class. One of them is a person. She has been having a very successful career in IT sale, and she's a very suitable. Think of that. I don't want to deny that.
Okay, I think Anand's connection has probably faulted, and he's dropped out of the conversation. I guess of the audience, the students got the essence of what he was saying. The last example he was giving was of Anand is back. Yeah, sorry, Anand. Would you like to conclude? Anand, can you hear me? So Anand was mentioning about how out of the two girls who were with him in his mechanical engineering batch, one of them has a very successful IT sales career.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. Please continue. I think that we will move on. Unfortunately, Anand is, I think there's a connectivity issue. So we heard most of it. I think he was concluding anyway. We heard what he was sharing. So let us move to the final item on the agenda. Thanking Anand for the interesting way in which he brought out the elements of sales and how it tends to be part of our lives, whether we like it or not. So better to like it, isn't it? So we had a wonderful morning listening to so many distinguished speakers, and I'm sure the audience, particularly students, are enlightened by the words spoken by the speakers and the guidance provided. To bring this inaugural session to a close, I now invite Dr. O. Ashokan, Head of the Department of Engineering, Electrical Engineering at M.DIT. Dr. Ashokan is an alumnus of NIT Calicut and QCET and was a director of KCB before moving to academics and research. Dr. Ashokan?
Yeah, it's Archana Subhash. It's audible?
Yes.
Audible, no?
Yes,
Audible.
you're audible.
Okay. So, good morning to all. So, at this point of time, I would like to thank Sri Mehboob sir, the Honorable Chairman of M.DIT, for giving the special address to this function. So, thank you, sir, for your aspiring words at this occasion. I would like to express my sincere thanks to Dr. P.M. Maheesan, the principal of M.DIT, for the welcoming address which he has given. Thank you, Maheesan, sir. And I also extend sincere thanks to Subhash ji, the founder CEO of Trinity Skillworks, who spoke about on the topic changing landscape of fresher jobs. Thank you, Subhash ji. I also extend thanks to Mr. Robin Baumik, the Chief Business Officer, Manipal Academy of BFSI, for the eminent talk on emerging career opportunities for engineers focusing onto the banking area. Thank you, Mr. Robin. I also extend thanks to Mr. Rajesh Narayanan, the CEO of Test House, for his inspiring words on IT career in testing. Thank you, Mr. Rajesh. Also, I extend thanks to Mr. Anand, the program manager of SkillActz, for his wonderful lecture in careers in sales areas for engineers. Finally, I extend sincere thanks to the Trinity team and our placement officer, Vinida of M.DIT, and other placement officers too from the other colleges, and to all my dear students who attended the function for making this a success. Thank you all. Thank you all. Over to Archana.
Thank you so much, sir. I also thank, as we conclude, I thank everyone who joined us for this inaugural session, all our guests and the students who are keenly waiting to become professionals very soon. Wishing everyone a wonderful day ahead. Thank you for being here.